Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to the show. Today is Saturday, June 18th. Today is another edition of SKTV. Regular, in other words, we use the word normal podcasting or show day, like we say in Liberia. Welcome to the show. Welcome to today's conversation. We want to welcome each and every one of you. The show today, um, as you can see, the headline: Discrimination against Liberians in the Diaspora. Today, we have a big conversation to have, a very big conversation to have, especially for those of us who are in the diaspora. We want to welcome each and every one of you. We want you to tune in today um, so that we can have this conversation because this will directly and indirectly impact you, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it now or not. It might seem like because it is your favorite person involved or your favorite people involved, it might seem like it's political or so forth. But like they say in Liberia, politics is interest, right? Um, and so our interests must be protected as well. This has the propensity to impact and affect the next generation of Liberians in the diaspora. So um, let's let's get started here really quick. We will have Leo joining us in just a few minutes here. Um, we'll also have members of the team joining us. Chairman Emmanuel Yato will also be here to help us with some of these situations to keep them in context. A lot of things to talk about, like I said earlier, a lot of things to discuss. So we want you to invite someone. We want you to share the show with someone, let someone know what's going on and what the conversation is all about. Let someone know what's going on. Um, this is very critical and interesting for us to move forward as a people and as a nation. And we must point it out for what it is. We do not care who's involved. We're not here to cover up or to make case for anyone. We're here to present the facts to the Liberian people, and we will go from there. We should also have the guys from Liberia joining us anytime soon. But in the meantime, we want you to please share the show. Invite someone and share the show. Invite someone. Let's share the show. Um, let's share the show, please. Invite someone. I will take a very quick, short musical break to take care of something technical here. Okay, I think it's getting much better because it was sticking and blurry at some point, but it's getting much better. So let's share the show, guys. Let's share the show. A lot to talk about. A lot to talk about today. Um, a lot going on in the country. But in the same token, we'd like to wish a friend and a brother, Abdullah Kyatamba. Today is his birthday. I want to wish Abdullah happy birthday on behalf of SKTV and on behalf of me as a friend and a brother. My man will say happy birthday, my man. What eating on your birthday, my man? What you get for all? Abdullah Kyatama, what you get for all on your birthday, my man? Their birthday here now, we were our birthday now, father. Oh yeah, we just looking at you now, chief. What is with you and me, my inbound. Yeah, the other one. My man Abdullah, we just looking at you. We are our birthday now past. Are you looking at our chief? What we eating now? We not grabbing small things there. But we want to welcome each and every one of you. We want to wish Abdullah a happy, blessed birthday. Abdullah Kyatama, wish you many more years with health and blessings to you. I mean, enjoy your birthday, enjoy the new age. Wish you nothing but the best. Um, a lot to talk about. Um, we try to jump into in other news really quick here. Like I said, at some point very soon, Leo will be joining us. Members of the team. Telvi is having her elections today as well in Texas. Being elected as a board member. I want to say we Telvi got a busy day today, so we're looking forward to her being on. We know how she will juggle that, but she has a very, very busy day today. We wish Telvi the best. We wish her all the best. Good luck. Blessings to her in her endeavor to serve her community as one of the board members. Telvi, we're cheering for you. You already know. Yay! We're cheering for Telvi. So, yes, guys, let's share the show. Let's invite other people so that we can have this conversation. Share the show. Today, we are talking about this is no CDC, no opposition talk. This is a total Liberian talk. This is a talk that must be held. This is a conversation that we cannot shy away from. This is something that we cannot run away from. Whether you intend to run for political office in Liberia or not, we want to have this national conversation as to bring attention to some of the things going on in our country, some of the discriminatory behaviors that have been exhibited by some Liberian politicians. We want to talk about it. We want to talk about the goal of this entire thing, the bigger picture, because it is bigger than you think. So we want to talk about it. We want to definitely dive into this conversation. We are not going to hold back. We're going to call names of those who signed this paper. These guys get drafted. Let me put it that way. They men get drafted. The men and the women that in that place get drafted. They got drafted. But that is why we are here. And people acting like it's a normal thing. We should just forget it. You will also recall that. You will also recall that these same guys, especially from the Senate, refused to make this bill public. They can keep it on a cover or whatever it is. But we finally got hold of it sometimes this week, but we didn't have the time to come on and talk about it. We wanted to make sure that we're talking about it on Saturday, which is today. So let's share the show, guys. Let's invite others. Help us to share the show. Help us to invite others. We're talking about dual citizenship. We're talking about dual citizenship. We deserve better. And we are Liberians. I don't care who says what. And so let's have this national conversation. What's there in other news? There are a lot of things in other news. A lot of things are going on. In other news, there are a lot of things going on with today. The CDC celebrates 17 years of quote-unquote revolution, or however you want to term it as. So when we hear people saying, to us that they were born sedition and you are over 17 years old, it's a sign that something is wrong with you, whether you like it or not. It's not an insult, it's just a fact. Because if you are older than something and you say you were born that thing, you got to reevaluate your statement. Either you don't know what you're talking, or you really got brave man to come in public and spew foolishness with confidence. And that in itself is a problem. When you decide to spew foolishness and lies in public with confidence, that is a problem. So you should be rethinking when you're making statements like, oh, I'm a born sedition, oh, I'm a born this. No, you're not. No, you're not. The record does not show that you are. It shows that either you don't know what you're talking, or you've just decided to exhibit foolishness in public, which is very sad. So please, yes, you can be your sedition if you choose to. That's your constitutional right, and that is your right as a grown and a mature person. But it's also unsafe for CDC to be 17 years old, and you are more than 17 years old, and you claim to be a born sedition. Something is wrong with you when you say that. So I would ask you, please, refrain from saying those things, that you're born sedition. Please stop it. You are not a born sedition. No, you are not. No, you are not. Yes, you love your party. Yes, you love the president or you love your country. And it's a right to affiliate with any political party as you wish. But at the same time, think about it before you make those statements. Please. Just please. We're all Liberians, but think about it. And so, in other news, today YCDC is celebrating her 17th anniversary, or however you want to term it. Other members of CDC calling for boycotting of the celebration. Some members are fed up that the masses only get called on when it will benefit the big boys. And so there seem to be some hauling and pulling and some problems going on here. Most recently, fired ex-minister or former minister Assistant Minister Eugene Fagon is calling on boycotting. I've seen some posts also of some seditions that I'm friendly with that are calling on, the boycotting of this celebration, that the party is divided. They need to reunite the party, or they need to get the party together as opposed to running around and saying what they're saying. So, give me a second. Let me send this out really quick to one of our guests that's supposed to be on. So, the CDC is in a tight spot. They're in a tight spot. As some of you have also been watching the different clips and so forth of what's going on, you can see the momentum or the zeal or whatever it is. It's not like before. So something needs to be done for the CDC and with the CDC. I don't know what that is, but they would have to figure out. The quote-unquote masses did not turn up. The masses did not turn up as they were supposed to. Yet the celebration went on, which is, they're right. They can celebrate however they want. Even if there's one person, they can go ahead and celebrate. It's up to them. It's up to the CDC. It's up to the ruling party. But today we don't want to distract from other things. In other news, ex-President Donald Trump, as some of you might be following the hearing from the January 6th committee, they're trying to solely hold President Donald Trump accountable as much as possible. And they're working on providing all of the facts and the evidences that they've gathered. On the other end, a lot of people are getting in hot water and things are coming to light and so forth. So on this end, people are dealing with serious situations and holding people accountable. On the other end, in Liberia, some people are protecting some people, but so is always in Liberia, right? People seem to have the different criminals that they protect, or bad actors or crooks that they want to protect. They make excuses for them. So just a lot going on in the world at once. But again, today, the conversation will focus on primarily Liberia, primarily, like I said, Liberia, Liberians in the diaspora. Um, right after the musical break, we will be calling on, we'll be making on some, we'll be making some serious appeals. We'll be reaching out to other friends and other members. We'll call the names of those senators that betrayed, thwarted the efforts of the Liberian people. And we will definitely work to ensure they can keep this on record, to ensure that those senators don't come here and seek any help. We'll work to ensure that that doesn't work. That does not work. If it causes us to fly to different states and mobilize and have conversations with people, then we will do that. These guys, this evil must stop. This is pure evil and nonsensical. It is nonsensical. It's like somebody giving you a car key and telling you to go drive when they've not taught you how to drive. This is problematic. But we'll dive into it. We'll talk about some of the things they've done, some of the implications they will have down the line. The same way how Doe there and other people made this discriminatory decision in 1986 with the Constitution, the same thing you guys are doing right in our eyes in the 21st century. And shockingly and surprisingly, you would not believe, Senator Dara Zilon is part of the crew. Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence is part of the crew. But we're going to talk about it in depth in here. We're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. This is evil. Let's get to the musical break. Before we do that, let's recognize one or two people. Now, in order to recognize you, you would have to type so that we know that you are here. If you don't type, we probably wouldn't know. While we await to connect with the folks who were supposed to be part of this show today, while we await them here, I want you to please share the show and invite someone before we get into the conversation. Christine, welcome to the show. Helena, welcome to the show. Helena, what's up? I see you in blue today. What's going on? You tired with the revolution? Hey, I say the masses are going to get tired. I beg you. The masses getting tired. Umetria, welcome to the show. Bert Denoir, welcome to the show. Cindy Anderson, welcome to the show. Seattle Townsend, what's up? We ain't see you the few days on the show. What's going on? You protesting, you masses, you tired now? You masses, you getting tired? Okay. Who part of the masses you're getting tired? Steve, welcome to the show. Napo, welcome to the show. Inisol, welcome to the show. I don't want to butcher that name. Inisol, welcome to the show. And I hope I didn't skip. Napo, I didn't skip your name. Welcome to the show. Musa, welcome to the show. Cole, welcome to the show. Oh, see that true, man. We're gonna work, Leo, man. That scam. We're gonna work. Lead that working thing. That scam. You think they will not know what's going on? You masses, you tired. You part of the masses, you tired. I come and call Benjamin Jonas on you. I come and call Lofa Julius on you. I come and call SB Don on you. I come and call Real Set Pro. I come and call all these guys. Oh. Steve, welcome. Steve Bonge, welcome to the show. What's up? What's up? Before we get into the musical break here really quick, Steve, what's up? See at that time, I come and call all, you know what? I will not even ask you to call. Tag all of them here. Let me let them know that I've been calling them, or you tag all of them here, please. Tag all the men who can get you hard time. Tag all of them here. Tag all of them here, please. So yes, so we are going to the musical break really, really quick. Really, really, she laughing. See that Thompson, you laughing? Okay, no problem. No problem. Help us. Let's share the show when we get back from the musical break. They lie to us. These politicians are not serious people. They like to use people, like to play people. But we inside.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go for us. No one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough for time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the for us. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The
can lie, they can steal, they corrupt. That is truth. Most of these politicians are liars. When you try to stand for the truth or with the truth, they will tell you you don't understand politics. They will do that. I like to start off a short story before while we get situated and get started here. And I'd use my friend's name, Senator Darius DeLong. First of all, before I start the story, let me give you the names of all the senators that signed this bill, when they signed it, when the voting went on, the date, the time. Let's give you the names first. Let's lay the premise for this conversation. And we'll take our own time to go through this conversation. We'll tell you how it all started. But let's lay the premise here. So the Liberian Senate, the 54 legislature of Liberia, they had a daily sitting and they voted, and there were 23 members of the Senate that voted on record. This was the 5th sitting session that they had. The date that they did this voting or they had this session was May 19th. So 1 day shy of a month. So about a month ago or 1 month ago, tomorrow makes it 1 month, they did the voting at 12:35 p.m., which is GMT, their own time there. And here is what they were voting on. The amendment of the Alien and Nationality Law by voting. So you will record that there is the Alien and Nationality Law in our Constitution. They want to make an amendment. You will also record the 2020 senatorial by-election. You will also record that there was a referendum from and with proposed by the CDC. And we spoke against this referendum. We said the bill or what was proposed by the government was restrictive and it was problematic and it could lead to problems down the line. And the reason we said that was not because some of us want to run for political offices in Liberia or get political jobs in Liberia. But we made a fair case that it would be unfair for me. I never fought war. I never caused the problem in Liberia for war. I come to another country. I get status in another country. But my mom, my father, Liberian, born Liberian, from Popala home. And you come and tell me I can be Liberian, fine. But if the people in Popala home says down the line that they want for me to vote for me or they want to elect me as town chief, I can be town chief. What even guarantees me that I will even be able to vote in an elections in Liberia? What is the problem? So we made a case. And it was voted down. We made a case to the Liberian people. So that means what essentially the government was saying, the CDC-led government was saying at that time, they put some restrictions. So we said no. We're Liberians, we remain Liberians. Even town chief? Come on now. This is totally unfair. So we made a case and said it was not reasonable. It was not realistic. It was unfair. And it was evil. Great. It was voted down. The Liberian people listened to us and said this was not good. Because we told our Omane and our papi then, our sisters, our brothers, some who are now living in Monrovia, living far in the rural area, we told them. We said what they are saying to us is, you born me, but the day I decide to move back to Liberia, and I say, and y'all see me, y'all say, oh, the way you not come back now to all yet, we want for you to be our town chief. The government say, I can't be your town chief. I can't be nothing. I'ma just show my mom and sit down. Even if I get good idea, I get good plan, I able to make to help. The government say I might not be part of it. I might not be part of nothing. In my own country, my mouth should be shut. I shouldn't say nothing, and I can't hold no office. I can't do nothing, even though I qualify to hold the office. So we told our own man in that. Even Senator Darius DeLong, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, in the different speeches, they mentioned that they will turn this down. And the reason I'm pointing both of them out, because during the 2020 senatorial elections, they benefited from the diaspora. They got the support of the diaspora, whether they want to admit to it or not. Great. Fast forward, the same issue resurfaces on May 19th for them to vote. Now, please don't get me wrong. There are some people, whether they're in the House of Representatives or the Senate, they will vote whatever President George Weah wants. And I'm not going to make this conversation about President George Weah or the CDC. No, that is not true. We've dealt with them in 2020. This thing was laid to bed. We had a perfect opportunity to move forward and to make the case. There are some lawmakers who would vote anything that the CDC. Whether they say they might kill their mouth, they might kill their part today, they will vote it. Because for them, they sold their birth rights. Even though they are elected, like the president was elected, but they fall in line with party mandates, and they fall in line with all kind of nonsense. As long as President George Weah is certified, they're certified. Whether that to sell the country, they're certified. That one we already know. It's not a hidden secret. But our own Senator Darius DeLong, seriously? Our own Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, are you kidding me? And I'm seeing members of the oppositions and people who supported Senator Darius DeLong and Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, they're tight-lipped on this issue. And they're making it to look like it's a normal and a regular thing, like they're doing us a favor. So they came into voting. Let me give you the record again. That was on May 19th when they did this. Tomorrow makes it 1 month when they made this decision to vote. There were 23 people that voted. There are actually 30, but 23 people voted. We'll give you the voting. I think now in the Senate, there are 29, missing that one senator from Lofa County, which should have been Bernie Samukai. So let's keep that in context, but there are 30 in the Senate. So 23 voted on the record. 7 were, I think we had, 2 absent. But let's read how the voting went and who voted what. Then we'll come to tell you what was the plan, what was happening behind closed door, and how Senator Darius DeLong and some members of the opposition betrayed the Liberian people in the diaspora. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about it today. And this goes beyond politics because this is absolute evil. This is bad, and this must be resisted. And we must call them out for what it is. For the record, I reached out to Senator Darius Dillon sometimes this week. He's a friend and a brother. But I don't fall in line. I don't fall in line. I don't compromise certain things. I do not fall in line. I do not fall in line. I don't do that elaborate thing. What? Somebody hurting you and you shut your mouth and you can talk about it. We're not on that level. I'm not on that level. Nobody. I don't care who you are. So let's discuss this. Anybody wants to say I'm making it personal, that's fine. It is personal. Because when you deny me my rights, you deny my children their rights, you deny other Liberians their right, but then you come to us later on and tell us to support you, and we put our finances and we put our efforts and put our energy into you, and we elect you, and you go there and you screw things up, you do things that will mess all over, you pissing on our head and tell us it's raining, and you tell us it's personal. Yes, it is personal. It is personal. It is personal. Anybody wants to say, oh, you're putting emotion into it? Yes. This is total betrayal. This is betrayal. Because they had options. They could have abstained from this. They could have stayed away from this. If they weren't shown on their votes, it would have been much better. But to go and vote against the interests of your fellow Liberians in the diaspora, you have your children here. But we have this discussion, and this discussion is not going to stop. If your thing is going to stop, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. You all know how we hold the CPP and Liberty Party thing. This thing, we inside. Let's get to who all voted. Albert Chia. Can you imagine Albert Chia, who is the Senate Pro Tem? You know what Albert Chia did? Albert Chia abstained. He did not vote. He said he would not vote. He was not voting when he checked the record. He abstained for it. He said, I don't want to be part of it. I respect that. Now, I will say, maybe Albert Chia, 50% is in the interest of those in the diaspora, 50% he's not in the interest, or he was confusing a decision, or this was deliberate, but I can respect that. Let's move down the list. Senator Sir Joseph. Sir Joseph, who comes here, and they call him Senator Sir Joseph, who come here and they call him Ebola hero. And he takes all the buses and everything, he runs around. We fought that inside. We fought that inside. We were in the diaspora. We fought that inside. We fought that inside in the crook their hands. We fought that inside. Senator Sir Joseph of Monserrato County. No, let me retake that. Albert Chia did not vote. Sorry, let me retake that. That's Senator Dillon, right after Senator Sir Joseph. Senator Sir Joseph abstained from voting. Sir Joseph. He comes here, he takes all the things, he votes in our interest, but he votes against our interest too. So you see, he thinks he's smart. But he can't come. If election coming, he can't come in. He can't come in. We're not ready for him here. He can't come in. He can't come in. We have that. We have this discussion. He thinks he's smart. I met him in person a year ago in Philadelphia at the Famosa convention. He thinks he's smart. He's my own brother from Lofa Kante. He thinks he's playing smart. But you will understand. You will understand himself very soon. Igwe Senator Dillon. Darius Dillon. Senator Darius Dillon voted yes for restriction. That's why he ran yesterday on a podcast. He started talking. He never promised anybody that he was going to vote for that. But I will prove to Senator Darius Dillon that you can fool some people some of the time. You can fool other people all the time. We have the facts on our side. So we can talk anywhere, anytime. I'll prove to Senator Darius Dillon that he did not say the truth. And we will continue to have this conversation. One thing I've always warned politicians about is this. Don't fool around with people in the media. Carry that thing somewhere else. Don't fool around with people who will do research. Don't try it. Do not try certain people. I'll prove to Senator Darius Dillon that he lied. He didn't say the truth. and we'll hold this thing till we'll see the end of it. Senator Darius Dillon voted for even when you decide someday, or when you go by Liberian, your people petition you and say they want for you to be town chief. Senator Darius Dillon say you cannot be town chief. You should not be town chief. You should not hold any position in your own country. Senator Darius Dillon voted for that. Senator Darius Dillon. That's a different person. That's exactly what he did. This is a total betrayal. Now, some of you might say, oh, you're trying to make it political, and you're against Dillon, and you're against the senator, and the senator, you're not letting man, you're the simple that voted the man. Let me tell you something. I can walk and chew gum. I don't know about other Liberian people, but me, I can walk and chew gum. I can elect you and hold you accountable. And I think every Liberian should develop that mentality where when you elect people, you don't sit on the side and become the cheerleader. You hold them accountable because you elected them. You hold their feet to the fire because you elected them. Your team are out there, your funny little shenanigans are your own, where you elect somebody and put it above you. And when they do wrong, say you're scared to ask them, you're scared to talk it because you don't want to be in bad book with them. You want you to stay be cool. Are you kidding me? You serious? You want Liberian to move forward, right? Then when we elect these people or we support these people, that's why when you're going to support somebody, be on the record. I'm on the record of supporting Senator Darius Dillon. I have no problem with that because of the hands that were dealt to us. I'm on the record of supporting Senator Darius Dillon. It does not mean if he does wrong, I will not hold him accountable and I will not call it out. Oh, that's not what it means. Oh, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. I don't suck up. I don't fall in line. No, I don't. You'll be on that level with them. I'm not on that level. Nobody. Even my pa. If he was alive, I tell him. You fool around, I'll tell you. I'm not about that life. So, Senator Darius Dillon voted against our interests. Senator Darius Dillon, I said nobody else. It's on record. He's on record doing that. That's exactly what he did. And we'll read the bill. We'll read exactly what's in the bill. Don't rush. We're taking that thing here easy. We want to lay the premise. We want to lay the ground for this conversation. We want to ensure we give you the positions before we read what's in there. And we want to also ensure, listen, if we don't get to finish this conversation, we'll resume this conversation on Monday. The guys think we need the thing. The reality the thing will go away. The reality so. We inside. We here. We're getting to this thing. So Senator Darius Dillon from Montserrat voted against us. Senior Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence. And mind you, Senator Dillon got his son in this country. It's on record. You know, I just don't understand some of these things. I just don't understand what is the problem with these guys. I don't understand what the fear is about. What is the issue with the people in the diaspora? What have we done to them? They run here, they beg us, they talk to us. They say we are nothing, we are internet citizens, that's fine. But when it comes to the time for them to do what is right, or for us to be given what is right, they run away from it. But then later on, they want to come here and tell us to do town hall and raise fund and do the one, and they got to carry on the other project, and they got to do the one, and the people in the diaspora, and they want, and that one. Okay. With the stupid people. We back in the diaspora, we stupid, we mumu. Something wrong with us. Y'all will use us in time for you to vote for something in our interest. I'm not even focusing on CDC lawmakers, like I said earlier on. Because for the most part, most of them, they're falling in line. They suck up. I said most of them, I didn't say all of them. But it will shock you on the issue of the dual citizenship bill. When you see the CDC lawmakers, when you see how they voted, you will be a little confused, especially the House of Representatives. You'll be a little confused. You'll be a little confused and amazed how they voted. This is troubling. This is troubling. Very discriminating. Let's move on. So Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence, Senior Senator Graham Basil. Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence. Like Dara Dillon voted, she voted also for this bill. And they think they're doing us a favor. Let me tell you something. I call Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence my Oma. I like Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence. As a matter of fact, I like women who seek power. When I say power in this context, I mean leadership. Because I believe we men dominate almost everything. I like women who stand for something. I like women who stand for things. But I also don't support women who undermine women's interests and undermines other people's interests. This is a total betrayal from Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence, Senator Dara Dillon. This is a total betrayal. This is a betrayal. And I can assure Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence that we inside this particular one that you voted against our interest in the diaspora, we inside. We'll do all we can in the diaspora. We'll do effort unless you rescind this nonsense. We'll do all we can in the diaspora to make your stay. And you say you get 9 years? And you say you get 9 years? I will see. Now back in the days, everybody could fall in line. And you get 9 years, you think at the end of the world? It's okay. It's very okay. In this country, we can write. In this country, we can talk. In this country, we can lobby. We can move things. We can talk to certain people for things to shape up. You're undermine our interests. You're who we expected at least to make the case. You refused to make the case for us. And you think it's a joke. You think it's a regular political thing. You really think so. This particular one, we inside. Let's move on to the next group of people. These are the two people I really wanted to point out and zoom in on. Senator Yomi Kanga Lawrence and Senator Dara Dillon. We inside. We inside. And you are right, Baden Kula. You're 100% right. Let me pull out your comment here. This comment caught my attention. You're 100% right. This is not politics. This is ridiculous. This is pure evil. Pure evil. Pure evil. Yes. The fear is about the same reason why they keep Liberians poor and they make Lebanese millionaires with our tax dollars through government contracts. That's exactly so. That is exactly the reason. And they think this is politics. That thing was stupid. Eh? Your reality was stupid. Eh? Your reality was stupid. You might piss on my head and tell me it's raining. You really think so? Okay. We ain't got a problem with that one. We move. We don't tell exactly what will happen in the strategy we employ, but we move. You all know how many people this particular move caught their attention? If you really know what you did, some of you would have never signed this bill. They would have rather abstained from this bill. But saying you had the audacity and the brave man to go in public and keep yourself on record on the kind of thing, we inside. Supposed to pass it around and joke around the kind of thing. That. You don't copy I know nothing will come out in 4 in line. So that one, but I keep moving. Milton Teje, he signed too. What do you expect? And these are all opposition leaders. These are all opposition people. Think about it. Think about it. The opposition has the perfect opportunity to make the contrast from what the bill that was introduced to us in December of 2020, the same bill that they rejected to some extent. The same opposition guys, because they're elected, and I guess what they did? They came back and signed the same bill. You see that? And you want to call these guys opposition? Let us move down the list now. We move. We inside. All of y'all who signed a bill. All of y'all who signed a bill. We inside. Y'all voted against the interest of the people in the diaspora. This is absolutely wrong. But let's continue. Augustine Chair from Sano also voted yes. Senator J. Bly Bo Brown from Maryland, County, he voted. He denied it. Give me a second. Let me take a quick musical break here. There is a technical problem. 1 second will just be for 1 second. Please, it will be for 1 second. I got to make sure I turn this thing so that it does not interrupt with the connections here. Please and please, just hang on, don't go nowhere. This,
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral, you post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la la, you working better. Loving you, I can get that say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession, you gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment, God your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, God your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. It's never be another man trash, just another man treasure.
Okay, we are back. Sorry for the interruption, but let's move on. Sorry, this thing would have gone off. Give me a second, please. All right, so let's get on to this here. Let me go back to that document really quick. Let's go back to that document because I was logged out. Okay, got it here. So, let me get the thing on. The thing we gotta be reading it. The thing we gotta be reading it. So, Sando County, both Sando County senators voted. The first, James B. Barney from Maryland, he voted yes. Grant came out. Simeon Taylor was absent, so he did not vote. Simeon Taylor is an opposition member. I think he's one of his senators. I don't know if I think he's the same Simeon Taylor guy from the ANC or whatever now. But that's not important. He's an opposition member. Like I said, Henrik Flomo Toba. Let's go to the second. Hold on, these things are very small to see. Both Graham came out senators basically did not vote on this thing. Bon Kante, Prince Moi. Bon Kante, Senator Prince Moi, who benefited from the CPP vote when he was with the CPP to become senator. He voted yes. He probably is not surprising to me anyways. It's not surprising to me. Henry Toba from Bon Kante, he also voted yes. Yeah. Can you imagine Prince Johnson, who fought war, who is on record? Prince Johnson, who fought war. Let me get you Prince Johnson vote. Yeah. Prince Y. Johnson from Nima County, senior senator. Prince Johnson abstained. He said he will not vote for this bill. Prince Johnson, he abstained and said he will not vote from this bill. He will not vote for it. He said no, he's not going to settle for this bill. He abstained from it. Let's move forward to the next Nima County Senator, Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun voted yes for Nima County. But they seen Jeremiah Kun in other news supposed to be coming to the US. Maybe they haven't made it public yet. Jeremiah Kun. Some of the Nima County people watching. Jeremiah Kun voted yes. And he's supposed to be taken seriously, right? He's supposed to come here. And these guys supposed to be giving audiences or credence, and people supposed to leave their job, call off from their jobs, and go sit down in meeting with them and say they're going to have town hall meeting. Let me say this. Let me be let me be clear on this record, on this. All of you who voted yes. All of you who voted yes. You might go to other state to go ask them to come to town hall meeting. It will not happen in Arizona. It's not going to happen. That foolishness must stop. It will not happen in Arizona. No way. We will inform our people about this. Thank God we're having a general meeting next week. We'll inform our people about this. And we will boycott y'all at all levels. When you're coming, you might be in somebody's basement, you'll be there, or you're going somewhere, I will tell. The money there, where you're cutting your little contract and you're stealing, you're getting, or the brand envelope there, you're going to rent someone at a luxurious hotel and be there. I will encourage every Liberian. Don't even go pick them up from the airport, don't get them wrapped. Let them find a way. Let them go wherever they want to go. Let them do whatever they want to do. When we start to do this, we'll send a message to these guys. These guys must be taught a lesson. And the time to do it is now. When you enable this behavior and you accommodate these guys, let's go to the bill. Let's get into the bill. And we'll open the line. Let's get into the bill. So the rest of them, let me tell you who all abstained. Nima County Prince Johnson abstained. Grant Jeter. Senator Marshall Dennis abstained. Zopeno never abstained. He voted yes. What do you expect from Zopeno anyway? Emmanuel Zopeno. I didn't expect anything less from him. Apart from Riverside, Senator Wellington Javon Smith. My people, hold on. Let me get to this person. Daniel Nathan. Senator Daniel Nathan, who is the current chairman for the ANC. What people on record are looking for a name? There are things that we hear for that. Let me see why you voted. So we can call Alexander Cummings there to haul him into this, because all of them need to keep the people in check. Daniel Nathan. Senator Daniel Nathan. Daniel Flomo Nathan Sr., Bapolu County. Senator Daniel Nathan never voted. Okay. He should have voted no. That does not give him a pass. Senator Daniel Nathan should have voted to be on record. That does not give him a pass. You need to put yourself on record so we can know exactly where you stand. We're not all the in the middle team. We're not on the in the middle team on serious national and critical issues. We're not on it. So Senator Daniel Nathan, straight message to you and the ANC people. You need to get your senators and your people to be on record. We want where they stand. We not want to go behind the horse on this thing. United Party will already fall in line with brown envelope. So they will vote for anything that brown envelope comes around with. That won't buy clear. But y'all on this funny shenanigans, ANC people, we're not on that. We're not on that. Mr. Cummings, this one needs to be clear. We're not on that issue. Your people need to let us know where we're not going to be. Not only ANC people that can go to ANC convention or every event where you have it here. They're not only ANC people. They're not only ANC partisans. There are people who are not ANC partisans that can go there too. So we need to know. We need to know exactly what's going on. We need to know exactly what's going on. Because we're not going to play that. But let's get to our last senator here, Senator Boto Kane. Can you imagine? Senator Boto Kane, who just brought our guest is here, but let me make this statement really quick and I'll bring Leo in here. I know Leo has had a hard day and he tried best. I know how long he can't make sure that he never does this, but he's tried his best to be on. So I bring Leo in, but let me make this. Senator Boto Kane voted yes. Can you imagine? Just think about it. Senator Boto Kane, not only that she's a woman, opposition who just got elected, she voted yes for this bill. We are in some beautiful nonsense with this mess. But we talk. we inside. But let's bring Leo on really quick.
First of all, can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, Leo.
Let me apologize. I don't do this on the car. Never ever. There's a fire situation in the building, and we've been out. And I was feeling so bad because I was supposed to be on. That's why I'm doing this as an emergency. So my apologies to your viewers and yourself.
Thank you. Well, just for the record, I want all of you to know I've known Leo for yes. We went to school together. I think he was in above me in Sion class. They used to punish us and come late. Well, Leo is a very good friend, a brother, very good man. It's always a pleasure and an honor sharing the same space with you, Leo. And thanks for all you do for our country, for our people. Thank you so much. I believe this is your debut on SKTV. We want to welcome you officially.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Look forward to it.
Well, who is Leo? Because some people on SKTV might not know Leo. They've heard the name or they've seen your picture or whatever it is. Who is Leo?
That is true. So my name is Leo Napolu Johnson, a Liberian, live in Canada. I'm also the president of the Liberian Association of Canada here. I'm also the executive director of an organization called Empowerment Squared that I founded some years back. And we do work now in Canada, Liberia, Ghana, and South Africa. And beyond that, I am a Liberian first and foremost. So Liberia remains paramount.
Okay, thank you, Leo. Interesting conversations. I'm not sure how you follow this. I think I stumbled on one of your podcasts, and you started to speak about some of these things immediately after you came back from Liberia or whatever it is. And this is not your first time speaking about the importance of dual citizenship. Just before we get into what are the documents or other aspect of this, what do you make of this issue of dual citizenship generally?
Yeah, so I've always said since the founding of what we call Liberia, the Republic of Liberia, we've never experienced citizenship from a place of inclusion. It has always been from a place of exclusion. 1847, we photocopied the United States Constitution with a lot of racist clauses in it at the time, one of the most racist constitutions on planet Earth. And we pasted in Liberia where women were not allowed to vote. So we tried to find who to exclude at the time. We excluded women. Few decades down the road, we decided that, oh no, let's exclude about 75% of the population by making sure you must be a real property owner with title deed before you are allowed to participate in our democracy. So you see the trend has always been on, oh, who do we exclude? And by the way, there are people who legitimately belong that we are always trying to exclude. Fast forward. That's why I'm a bit shocked, Steve, that some of the progressive are silent. Their silence is deafening. When they were fighting those days, and economic injustice and all of the things they were fighting for, the Alien and Nationality Act came about to try again to find out who to exclude, because most of them were coming from the diaspora. Whether it was the Gabriel Bacchus Matthew, the Ishbema family, all of these guys. Mm-hmm. Again, something was being designed to exclude people who were legitimately Liberians. Fast forward to today. This is the first time in history that we have a genuine opportunity to experience citizenship from a place of absolute inclusion. And once again, our politicians and leaders of the day are trying to figure out who can they exclude based on politics, based on no other reason than politics. And I would say this, the debate or the conversation about dual citizenship is not a political conversation, which is the biggest mistake that has been made. It is an economic conversation because to be a natural born Liberian is your inalienable right. You did not discuss with God, Steve, where to be born. God did not ask you for your opinion to say you want to be born in Liberia or Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana or wherever. God made that choice. So no human should have the ability to take it nor subject you to be a second-class citizen. What is a Liberian citizenship worth when you have stripped of everything just to say I can go to Liberia and come back without visa? If that is what it's worth, then you're causing trouble. And I will close by saying this. We are planting the seeds for the next civil war. And I know people don't like to hear it, but I will say it. Because when you exclude millions of Liberians who the only thing they've ever known is Liberia, in the name of you are afraid that they might come and get political offices and one day run away, then you are basically telling people who belong that you do not belong. And the last time that was tried, the people who you told that did not belong fought their way in by force to come back to Liberia. That's the civil war we went into. So if you force people to have to fight their way to come back to their homeland and claim what is rightfully theirs, we're sowing the seed for the next civil conflict.
Okay. So this is interesting. This is an interesting perspective you've brought to the conversation. But then my question would be, what is the benefit, before we go into this, what is the benefit of not alienating Liberians? What is the benefit of it?
The first thing I will say, economics, economics, economics. Citizenship has two sides to the coin. It comes with rights and it comes with responsibilities. The politics in Liberia has been so dirty and so bad and so marginalizing to the point where we have lied to our people that citizenship only got rights because we want to continue to control them. So we have not had the conversation about the responsibilities of having citizenship. The benefit is that you will be able to create, for the first time since the war, you will be able to create a permanent middle class for the Republic of Liberia. Like it or not, the only opportunity to create a middle class for Liberia is the Liberian diaspora. They have the ability to be that. Number two, you have the ability to increase revenue generation by another $200 million easily. And let me tell you this. To be a Liberian natural born citizen is your inalienable right. To hold another passport, Steve, is a privilege, right? It's
So
not a right.
Leo, I won't hold you there. I want you to slow down and break that word down to my Omane in Zwenzu, in Senkipa, all the way down there in Tucson, in Ban.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that word?
So, about middle class.
No, inalienable
Or
rights.
inalienable. So what inalienable means is that something divinely given to you, for you, that no human had a part to play inside. So no human has the ability to take it from you, like when you were being born. When your mom got pregnant for you, God did not discuss, even with your mom, as to when she was going to get pregnant, where she was coming to deliver with you. You are not part of that. So inalienable means it was divinely given to you. That is the reason why when people naturalize, they call them naturalized citizens, compared to people who were born there by divine intervention from God himself. So that's what we mean by inalienable. You have no choice. You have no matter, no say in the matter at all. God made that decision that Steve Boley will be born in Liberia, whether he likes it or not. That's where he will be born. But let me go to the middle class stuff I was talking about, Steve. Now, to be a Liberian citizen, especially natural born, is a right. But to hold the passport of another country is a privilege. Because all Liberians don't have that same access to go to another country and take another passport. What that means is we don't pay for rights. Rights we are entitled to. Privileges, we pay for privileges. When you want to drive a car, Steve, you're in America, you're not forced to drive car. If you choose you want to buy a car, you got to save the money to buy it, you got to pay for insurance, you got to take it for maintenance. The person who not get a car, not get all that problem to worry about. So what the government should be talking about now should be saying, how can we make our brothers and sisters who have had the privileges of going outside of Liberia, whether by force or by choice, and taking another citizenship as a privilege, how can we make them pay their fair share to this country based on the privileges that they enjoy? And I'll give you an example. Don't take the numbers just for the sake of argument. If we say $200 a year for a dual citizenship tax, $200 US a year, for a dual citizenship tax. That means you will easily be raising close to another $100 million annually for the Liberian government as a permanent guaranteed tax. Here's what will happen. If Mr. X has, another passport and decide I'm going to Liberia for 3 years and I'm paying that tax, great. The day you show up at RIA, we swipe your passport, chief. You are in arrears by 3 years, and 2 times 3, that's 6. You owe the Liberian government $600 in taxes. You pay $600, you pass. You don't pay it, you get back on the next flight and go back to where you're coming from. Number two, put it on top of it that they should own real asset in Liberia. For sake of argument, no less than $25,000. What are the land? What are the house? What are the business? Any real asset. You know why? It's called progressive taxation. In America, when you owe taxes, Steve, and you pay for a certain period of time, they can garnish your account. Yes. They can start confiscating your property. Right. So when you owe a tax in Liberia, you pay 20G. They look at it and say, man, you want to come, I owe 20,000 in taxes, we confiscate your property. That's real asset. If you can pay the taxes, you get your property back. So the reason I'm saying this is these are the opportunities, these are the type of conversations we should be having about how can we ensure that Liberians who have the privileges of holding other passports are paying their fair share. They don't only come to get from this country, but they have a skin in the game when it comes to the economics and how our country is supposed to go.
Okay, so Leo, you initially you mentioned about how this entire thing started. The Alienation Nationality Act, or whatever it is, how it all started, whatever. Now, I'd like to go back to it really, really quick. So sometimes way back, they started off by saying to us, that aliens, 1956, all these won the Alien Nationality Act when it was repealed, 1973. They started saying that, any person of Negro descent could become Liberian or whatever now. But the question I'm asking is this. One of the biggest things that I haven't seen or I haven't heard about, in as much that, yes, there's huge economic benefits, like you said. What about voting rights, though?
Exactly.
What do you say about that before we get into this bill?
First of all, it's a fool's errand to try and marginalize the people who were something happening in Liberia. Oh, we need a Liberian diaspora to can support when Ebola was raging, when COVID was actually raging. Oh, we beg the Liberian diaspora, we want people to come back. But at the same time, you're telling these people, we want you to come back here as second class, right? Let me tell you something today. When it comes to voting in Liberia, it is a Liberia's peril to start to marginalize people who should be participating. Because you know what? Those of us whom God has blessed, Steve, that we've come here, that we've seen better, we've learned better, we've lived better. We have an innate responsibility to figure out how we can facilitate some of that in improving the situations of our brothers and sisters. For those of us whose reference points have changed, those who never left Liberia, your age and my age, Steve, your only reference point at the war. So right now, Liberia is a paradise for you. Because in the world at your own reference point, right now things are great. Nobody shooting going or nobody going to a house to kill you or so. So you think the country is great because your own reference point at war. But somebody can look at Steve Bullet and say Liberia is great right now. Steve's reference point is much better, so he aspires to better. So Let me say it to you today. The more people that can participate in our democracy, especially those who really belong, the more we legitimize our democracy. The more people we alienate from participate, we make it illegitimate. Because all you've done is to say, let me kick out as many people as possible because I'm not able to convince them that I have to offer better. And I will say this to everybody. How can a naturalized person from Nigeria in Liberia has the right to do and be anything except president and vice president? And you look in the face of a natural born Liberian, and you can be minister, you can be deputy minister, you can be director for any agency, you can be president for LU, you can be appointed to any autonomous agency. Then what's the point? Keep the citizenship. Tell Liberians, don't come back here. Wherever you are, try and stay there permanently.
This is an interesting point because I want to be correct on this. You and I are part of the group called Once Liberian, Always a Liberian. And part of this, the focus point of this group was to ensure that we draft a bill after Senator Darius Dillon was elected. We draft a bill, considering other factors or whatever now, presented to the Senate or the legislature, whatever it is, to ensure that it's coming from the diaspora, so that we have one voice, which we did, and sent it on. These guys kicked out this bill And I want to be on the record saying that Senator Darius DeLong and other people championed this, were part of the meeting, the Zoom calls and other things that we talked about, or whatever it is. Senator Darius DeLong votes all of the restrictions that some of them you just mentioned. We'll get into that bill. We'll get into the bill that they voted on. What do you say? Is this politics? What is this in nature? Because I'm confused. I don't know what to term it as. What do you say?
It is, well, first of all, insanity, number one. Number two is dishonesty. Number three is greed and selfishness. Because let me tell you, all this bill does. All this bill does, it protects the few people in politics and in power so that they never get a real competition from anybody in the Liberian diaspora. That's all this bill does. This bill achieves nothing. It benefits Liberia zero. It gives Liberia. So please tell me, what is the benefit for putting Liberians through all of this? What does it benefit Liberia right now? Let me ask you, Steve. Liberia does not even know who its citizens are, the people who never left the country, who were born in Liberia. According to the UN statistics from 2018, only 35% of Liberians born in Liberia has any record of their existence. So you only got 35% of the people in the country that you can account for. If you never went to get a birth certificate or passport before in Liberia, you don't exist. I'm talking about those who are in Liberia, and I say those who are out. So
Right.
if you can't even take stock of people in your country, go ahead and pass this bill. People decide if Mr. X had another passport and decide to not tell you. Why are we creating dishonesty? We need to create laws that are progressive, laws that will incentivize people to want to be honest. Because Liberia as a country does not have the ability to determine who is a dual citizen or not, unless the person walk up to you and tell you, I am. So what's the point of passing a bill that will be unenforceable? A bill that will be useless and worthless, that will just make people become more and more in criminal acts by hiding whatever they get and defrauding the countries in the country in ways that we don't expect. So for me personally, all of the senators, let them ask themselves, go to Banga, go to Palipo Ken or Joplo Ken, tell that Oma, your son are in America working way hard and saying $200 for your food and your medicine every month. They say when I men come here, he no longer now the one main citizen, but he not allowed to be president. He not allowed to be vice president. He not allowed to be chief justice. He not allowed to be any minister. They not allowed to be any deputy minister. They not allowed to be any controller for any autonomous agency. Go tell the woman in Joblo and I said, do you agree? And let's see whether that woman will tell you, say, yes, I agree. You treat my son who was born right in the time here. His mother, his grandma, his grandpa, his brother and sister, all of them here. But his brother and sister, they will be first-class citizen. And he will become a second-class citizen only because he went to America, he was stateless. Did not have a passport because he went on a one-way travel refugee document and never knew when he would ever get the chance to come back to Liberia. And to be able to benefit from the opportunities there, took American citizenship so that he could go to school, so that he could learn. And now he's yearning to come back here. But they said, no, he can't participate in anything significant in this country.
And just interestingly, since they want to think this is only politics, let me point out something, and maybe you can help me out here with the hypocrisy on this bill. This bill was submitted on the 20th. They voted on the 19th. Listen to the people who's in charge of this bill. Listen to the names of the people who are in charge of the bill. Senator Councilor Vani Sherman was the chairman. He's an opposition man.
Yep.
He's an opposition man. You're listening to my people. Liberian people, those of you listening to us on the radio in Liberia, that the opposition people, Senator A.B. Darius DeLong, he was a member of this committee for this bill. Darius DeLong, my people, you're in the diaspora, you're bound to let you go. Senator Prince Moi, another opposition member who benefited from the CPP as well. We want to make sure these things are clear. No more secret in this thing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Senator Norman T.H. Batikwa, and then Senator J. Milton Tiaje. I think he's the only, I don't know, opposition or sedition here. But this is to tell you this entire bill came from the opposition camp. So I want to say to the Liberian people here, we might not put this thing on CDCA. You know, when we start to have this kind of fair and balanced conversation, we won't move this country forward. What do you say about the opposition wanting to take power, but yet undermining the interests of the same people that should vote them, support them? Because we campaigned here for Senator Darius DeLong. We did. We are on the record of campaigning. We spend money for Senator Darius DeLong. What do you say about this?
First of all, the insult is that Liberians in the diaspora are only good enough to make you an elected official, but none of them should ever get the opportunity to ever smell it. Look, the Constitution already put in place, Steve, that to be elected, you must be elected. The Liberian people must vote for you. And not that you can just move from here because you get money, you go to Liberia, then they make Steve Bole something because Steve Bole come from America. You're going to have to campaign and convince the Liberian people to go and cast a ballot for you. All of
Exactly.
these senators, it tells you clearly that these people are only afraid that the competition and the quality of our democracy will be elevated when we create an opportunity to attract people with the quality of character, reputation, and competence that we need. You know why it's difficult for people with competence to run in Liberian politics? Let me tell you today. It's because of this. Because the way it's been structured is so demeaning that most people find it as any serious person finds it as a waste of their time when the process itself is so convoluted. So these guys have a definite vested interest to keep it this way. Because as long as they can keep it this way, Unesoso or then can be inside. They will not have look, let me tell you something. Since we've been alive, Steve, since the formation of Liberia, less than 30 people have become president. Very few people will ever become president for the Republic of Liberia. So why are we making this to sound like it is about political? Why are we only interested in protecting political offices? That's the first thing I should tell you. All the citizenship bill that they drafted, read through it. The only thing they're interested in restricting people from are political offices. If it was genuinely in the interest of saving Liberia, then why only political offices you got interest in? How come you're not interested in saying, let's protect the country overall? So this only serves the interests of politicians because the only restrictions they put in are political restrictions. So the only interest here is to serve the interests of politicians. And let me go in a little bit. Let me take on the reliance. They use Dr. Robert Pele presentation as their
Right.
big reliance all in there.
Right.
To say if you not put restriction, then people who get other passport will kind of rip the country and run away. Steve, let me ask you, whether you get another passport now in Liberia, how many times we see Liberians cause trouble, ran away and sought asylum places that they were protected? You don't need to have the citizenship of another country. So because you put a restriction in place, somebody can say, I don't get American passport, I only get a Liberian passport. You appoint a person and tomorrow the person run away. Does that solve the problem? What you should be talking is what kind of treaties do we put in place to ensure that if somebody who has dual citizenship holds a position and commits a crime or create a problem, we have the right treaties and laws, the extradition laws in place that we can enforce to bring that person back here based on the crime that they committed, not based on what passport you hold. The only reason why no country will do an extradition treaty is because our justice system is a mess. If you had a serious justice system, countries
Right.
will respect your extradition treaties. So I care less what kind of restriction you put in place. No country in their right mind will send somebody to Liberia to go seek justice when they know how corrupt our justice system is. So Dr. Robert Pele's argument does not hold water in this case.
And Leo, today we will touch on the surface of all these things generally, but my expectation, my hope, and I will connect, after the show, that we can go through this bill one by one and explain to the Liberian people what it means, what these guys are doing, and what the essence, what this thing could lead to. So today we just talk about it on the surface, but I'll be reaching out to you for you to check your schedule for us to get back to the table to discuss this bill, and break it down. Because again, that is what they use. They use Dr. Reta Pillar's, his presentation. And what they didn't do is they didn't do research. On the other side, they just think that it was the pro. They didn't get the cons of it. They don't think ahead of things and say, okay, he said this. How is this applicable in this situation? How can this be used to benefit our people and so forth? But let me ask you further question just about the different moves that these guys are making as to protect themselves. What do you suggest to people in the diaspora based on what these guys have done? What do you suggest to the diaspora Liberians?
Here's my suggestion to diaspora Liberians. Let's saturate Liberia this coming election in 2023. And when I mean saturate, let's literally saturate the country. And this time there's no shame inside, there's no shying away from the realities. Let us go after people. Let us explain to the mistake we made at first referendum was we all were being politically careful, we want to make sure we don't blah blah blah. Not making sure this tell people to vote this down. It is not just discriminatory, it could sow the seed for the next civil war. Don't mince your words on it. whether it's here on your own platforms when you can make it to go to Liberia, those of us who go to Liberia very often, we need to get involved. We need to ensure that our people know, especially senators, representatives, know that we are coming at you directly. We are coming at you for the deception, for the dishonesty, that we don't matter. Since you say we don't matter, let's show you that we don't matter. Since you've made us your direct adversaries now, because that's what they've done in this bill. They
Yes.
basically said to them, you are our direct opponents. So since we are your opponents now, let's take it on that way. That's what I'll say to Liberia. And reject any argument from any organization. Any organization that comes to try and tell you, say, let's just do that one night, kick the can down the road, tell and say, sorry, our future is too important to say, let's wait for down the road. There's no down the road. We either fix it now or we're not going to be serious to fix it.
What? Wow. Well, in addition to what Leo said, I don't know if you agree with me. We'll start the conversation behind closed doors. Leo is one of the leaders in the diaspora. We'll start the conversation. We'll reach out to EULA. We'll reach out to other associations in the Americas. When these guys come here, we will boycott their town hall meetings. We will boycott their events. We will not contribute to the things. We will not we will not waste our time calling from our jobs to go support them for anything they want to do, because they don't respect us. They do not consider us. Since we are aliens, we're not introduce them to our senators on the side, the representatives on the side, to our state leaders or to government leader. The place they can go. Let them look, this thing, Leo, I don't know what you think, but definitely
In fact, Steve, we should not boycott. We should show up there and protest their events. Let's not boycott it. We should protest it. That's a democratic space. That America, yeah, you can call no ERU or PSU to come for anybody. When they show up here, let them hear the disenchantment in our voices at every turn. What at our basement party? What at our town hall meeting? Let's show up there and let's make sure the only discussion is to hold them accountable for their deception, for our vote of confidence that we have given them.
And I'm hearing Senator Dara Zilon should be here sometime soon in Minnesota for a fundraiser for the rehabilitation center. Let me say this: I support the rehabilitation center, but as long as Dara Zilon is in charge of that, I will not support any effort in that. I will reach out to the people in Minnesota as well. I will reach out to the leadership there. We will galvanize. If it causes us to get on a plane and go there and protest against them, like you said, this nonsense got to stop. It has to stop. You can't be
boycotting. Steve, boycotting is an opportunity to hear them spew out the twisted logic of what this is, because people will only start to hear one side of the story when you boycott. So no, let's go there. Let's ensure that whenever they come here, the first thing on their mind will be they will bother with one of us there, not one of many of us there. And in fact, don't shy away from saying you'll not support their efforts. You know why? I'm still waiting to see these things that they're doing institutionalized, right? Great on Senator Dara Zilon by setting up a rehabilitation center. But when have we seen him separate the independence of the rehabilitation center to run as an institution?
Most definitely.
By itself. When you build these things, if you're building it for the community, then your job should be to build an institution that becomes institutionalized, to run void of you, that you are not the decision maker, that there is a board of directors in place of competent people who understand what's supposed to happen, so that you're not using it whenever it's convenient for you. So for me, I would say to everybody, let the people at the rehabilitation center start to know that the dishonesty of a senator or of somebody is the reason why our support is drying up, not because our brothers don't want to support us, but because they don't trust the person that we are putting in front of it.
Definitely. I'd have to agree with you. I have to agree with you on that. Leo, just before we get to the lines here, maybe people have one or two questions they might want to ask you. And again, we'll not go into the document today because of time, but definitely we'll connect with Leo so that Leo...
Let me say something, Steve. Nigeria has unrestricted dual citizenship. Let's go right in the region. In Nigeria, once a Nigerian is Nigerian, doesn't matter what kind of other passport you hold. When last will not see the Nigerian president run away because they have another passport, or somebody in Nigeria put Nigeria a national security threat because they hold another? I want to go to Dr. Raptel Pele's argument. Nigeria, right next door, has unrestricted dual citizenship for natural born Nigerians. Once you are a Nigerian, you are a Nigerian. Doesn't matter if you want another passport, you are entitled to all rights and privileges like any other Nigerian citizen. Doesn't matter which other passport you hold. So if we want some examples in the region, that's an example.
So Nigeria, let's get to that, because that was going to be my next point I was going to make to you as, example of other countries right within our sub-region, right there, right around there. Nigeria, right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of Ivory Coast because I know for sure Ouattara, the current president, was between France and the Ivory Coast. I know he was back and
Correct.
forth,
Yep.
even during Ofod Boyen's time and all the other guys when they were leaders. I know most of them also go to France, get some kind of status that or whatever it is.
In fact,
But
most of them got French citizenship. Most of them
exactly.
from their parents or whatever they have, they got French citizenship.
So Leo, then let's forget about the fear. The issue of this dual citizenship issue or dual citizenship thing, how does it trickle down to our children that we've had on this end of the world?
That's a
What do you
very important question, Steve. Basically, our generation is beginning to be cut off as of now. You are being cut off from Liberia for good. That's what's happening right now. Because number one, to even incentivize our kids to go to Liberia has to be intentional. Most of us are trying our darnest hard. You see, I'm in Canada, Steve. Luckily, in Canada, Canada is one of the few countries. Also, in Canada, 54 members of the Canadian Parliament hold more than 2 passports. 54 members of the Canadian Parliament. We're talking about serious country that are dealing with serious national security issues.
right?
Our former governor general, who is almost like the president, right? Hold 3 passports. She holds a Haitian passport, she holds a French passport, and she holds a Canadian passport. She's the former governor general, like the president is the equivalent of what you call the president,
Right.
right? Holds 3 passports, by the way. Serious country that are dealing with serious national security issue. Then the reason I say I don't want you to keep going to Dr. Rupta, but I go to our children. People are not looking too far off. This is the beginning of the cutting off of our children completely, becoming a lost generation forever. Because
Wow.
the moment now your citizenship gets subjected to this, Steve, let's be honest. How many Liberians should have an incentive to go back to Liberia to do any serious investment? I will encourage Liberians to not honor those circumstances. Because you know why? They are not being treated fairly. I'm all for equity. If you're going to have people put a skin in the game, then give them back. So that's the danger for down the road for our children.
Wow. And to those of the people listening to us via radio, today we are not connecting via Facebook on the radio. We are doing the audio because there is some technical problem with the Facebook transmission, but we're doing audio. So they're hearing you and I and others that will call on later. This brings me to an interesting point of where you hear, we first of all want to greet the people listening to us. Thank you for listening to us across Liberia. Thank you so much. Definitely this conversation will happen again. Leo not going anywhere with chase Leo down. but we want to thank our listeners and our viewers, our listeners from Liberia. But Leo, something interesting that when you made that statement, it cut off, it reminds me of the United States when you hear other people in the United States saying African American. And it takes us back to the year of return when some Africans are going back to trace their roots because at some point they were cut off. So they call them African Americans. So the African Americans here are in a dilemma. They cannot identify as American, yet they cannot identify as African. So they're just in this space now. Is that similar thing that could happen to our children that are born here?
In fact, it's already happening. Let me
Wow.
be frank with you. The disorganization of Liberian citizens, right? The disintegration of the destruction, because the politicians in Liberia have been destroying Liberian citizenship for a long time. This didn't just start with this bill. Let me let you know that. This didn't start with this bill. Liberia is the only country that have consistently found a way to make it difficult for its own people to go home. Let me tell you something, Steve. Liberia is officially the most expensive country in the world to travel to. In the world, there is no country as expensive as Liberia to travel to, first of all. Number two, for a long time, because of how difficult it has been for Liberians in the diaspora to go back to their own country, the harassment that they get, whether at its various Liberian embassies or the various airports, or with all the propaganda war about how Liberians from the diaspora are being used as targets because people say that they don't want to come here, they can't do the politicians spin it whenever they actually can. Have made it difficult. So because of that, our children just hear that we from Liberia. You know that, Steve, go in the Liberian community. How many kids you see? Let me give you an example. A young man, Alfonso Davis, right here in Canada, of Liberian
Yeah.
origin, my pa, grandma, when you're talking, you know straight. Someone like Alfonso David, please give me an understanding what is in place that is. If Alfonso David was a Nigerian, right, or an Ivorian or whatever that is, this would have been an official push, national push to own Alfonso David, regardless of whether he plays for Canada or not, to make sure he connects with his roots. Because Liberia needs someone like Alfonso David more than Alfonso David needs Liberia right now.
Most definitely.
Take it or you actually leave it. And Alfonso Davis is just an example. There are many Liberians like that. Let me give you an embarrassing situation that happened. This young fellow who ran for Liberia in the Olympics in the US, who were representing Liberia, if you remember a few years back, and everybody was celebrating with him. He's born in the United States. He's not a Liberian citizen. So how in one breath the president of Liberia, came to congratulate the man for representing Liberia? That was technically illegal, because he was born in the United States. And based on the argument, our senator and our politician and making right now, they are saying all of those people, you gotta kick them out. They don't belong here unless they accept to be second-class citizens where they can participate in anything significant here. So the danger of the destruction of Liberian citizenship continues. And if my son, who's born in Canada tells him, say, you have the right to all your passports, Liberia says you might revoke. The Canadian Constitution does not allow a natural-born citizen to ever revoke. You don't have an ability to revoke. So my son can go to Liberia and say, okay, I revoke the Canadian citizenship. I give my Liberian passport. Then he come back and I say, we not care for that your revocation you did. It's illegal on our laws anyway, so it doesn't matter. We don't recognize it. Why would my son want to be fighting to claim that he's from a country that is deciding to reject him? Why should he? Why should he be the ones among his friends to be fighting to belong to a place that's constantly our politicians are saying, don't come here, your state or your sir? Why should he? Why should any Liberian child want to? All other countries, including African countries, are designing programs every day to Rwanda is looking at introducing 2 seats in their parliament. Sierra Leone is debating introducing seats in their parliament for the diaspora, for Sierra Leoneans with dual citizenship. Liberia is the only country that has consistently said, let's make it as difficult as possible. And you know what this is going to degenerate into? Family conflicts. Because now when families start having conflict, they will start using this now to expose their family member who never been wanting to come public now, to try and use it against them to gain an upper hand as a result of a crazy law that takes us backwards, does not benefit the country in any way, shape, or form, only protects a corrupt system that we all say we should change and make better, but they're fighting to make laws to protect that very system.
And the same people that are saying that we should change it, and the same people that are cheering this thing to undermine the same changes, quote unquote. And that's why I don't fault Timothy. We are President Josh. We are son.
No, I don't.
For Liberia.
I don't. It's the same Alfonso David. It's the same Alfonso David situation. Why should they?
Exactly.
Why? Why should they? Steve, man, the last thing, the most hurtful thing on earth is to keep saying the person is my pa. Then everybody in the family arguing that the person is not your pa. But you keep fighting to show that it's the most hurtful thing to start telling people this is where I'm from. This is my origin. But that place keeps saying, no. Really, you're not really, because because you did the other thing. So, and you can be here only in a particular way. Look, you cannot, the Supreme Court said it clearly, you cannot take away someone inalienable right as a citizen based on administrative purposes. You must show how you got standing, how it affects you negatively. How does any Liberian having a dual citizenship in Liberia, paying their fair taxes, paying their fair dues, giving the right protections in place so that they don't abuse it, how does it negatively affect any other Liberian citizen or the country, the Republic of Liberia? Why are we making a citizenship argument, a political argument? Steve, the same way we can say family tree can bend, it can break. Whenever something happens in your family, you don't judge it like you're judging a court case, right? Because it's family. You give a different approach to it. You'll sit down, in fact, to try and figure it out. It's the same way our citizenship should not be a political argument, because politics is deceptional. Politicians lie every day to us. It should be an argument of economics, an argument of originality, an argument of a sense of belonging to a place, an argument of national pride, an argument of self-pride. It should never be an argument of politics, because the politics of the day is slippery. Today is one thing, tomorrow it will be the direct opposite.
Wow. Well, thank you, Leo. We'll get to the phone lines and really quick. The numbers are out there. Please place your call to contribute. You have 1 minute each. I already have the first caller here who will have more than 1 minute. If you have any question for Leo, please get straight to the point. Let's have this conversation and let's keep it moving. To the folks in Liberia who are listening to us, we say thank you. Thanks for following us. We have Leo here with us in studio, Leo Johnson. He's always in Liberia doing some good work there. At some point, we'll also bring him on to talk about the work that he's doing there and how, we can help in the diaspora, because we have to identify people that are in our interest to support. And there's a political interest. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I know what they say.
That's it. Let's look for people that are in our interest and support their efforts. Those are not in our interest, then we go against the effort too. It is what it is, and we hold it. But let's get the first caller here. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
It's Cyrus, man, calling from Minneapolis as usual.
Yes, Cyrus. What's your take, my man? We have Leo with us in studio here today. What's your take?
I mean, Leo's making some salient point, and that's just what it's all about. This thing is a business model for those politicians. It's not only about job or cutting you off. Like I said, it's a business model because they just don't want a system changing. Look, the people in the diaspora are not perfect. The only reason we came here, like I said, you get outside experience, you change your way of thinking, you see the world from a whole different perspective, and you go back there, you want to institute change. But those guys over there, no, they don't want that. Those guys understand, the more people that come in the diaspora with the same idea, they will try to shift the system. Look, when you make laws were meant to be based on merit. Every law will come with a loophole. Yeah, we can make the assumption that people come in the diaspora, they got 2 passports, they do capital flight, money come in out of the country. But if let's say you got local criminals in all the government, if you look at the percentage of people from the diaspora compared to the local, how do you make the argument? There are less than 5% of all government officials in the country currently that are from the diaspora, maybe less than 3%. So how do you make the case that people will steal money and leave the country? We just saw a man from somewhere came and spending more than $100,000 on a lavish wedding in Paris, France. Is he from the diaspora? Is he now a local? Look, see, I mean, Moses, it's a very tough thing to say, but I keep saying it all the time. If you really want to be pragmatic about the situation in Liberia, that's what I'm saying. The possibility of you and myself seeing like a better Liberia in our lifetime, it's almost improbable. I would not say impossible. It's almost improbable because that the system is over there. That's how the God want for the society to be. Look, let me give you one example. Go and do your research. If you look at countries that allow dual citizenship versus country that doesn't, you will find that most of the prosperous nations in the world that are doing better, they support dual citizenship. So how do you make an economic argument that somehow when you carry 2 passports, the country Liberia poses is a risk to Liberia? How do you make the argument? Just look at the result. Look at the country that accept dual citizenship. Look at the standard of living. Look at the corruption in there, and look at every measurable index and compare the country that are not.
Right.
You will find that one of the most poor countries, with the exception of very few, but the vast majority of the countries in the world that accept dual citizenship, they are prosperous.
Okay.
They are the top of the economic ladder. So how do you make the argument?
All right.
Like Leo said, it's about cutting off a generation. And like he made mention of the African American community. That's why African American now they are flocking back to Africa. They're looking for somewhere to be because they were brainwashed from the beginning. They were cut off, and they look at the whole thing. You know what happened? The war is changing now. Whether you look at it geopolitically, everything is taking the team for the worst. Why not? Can I go back? Look, the reason we don't take the thing seriously because we don't see influx of people from the diaspora in Liberia. Go to Ghana, stay in the Koroka airport. You have a Jewish community in Accra. You have an African American community in Accra. People are moving back home because they want to be identified with something. You look at a country that is brain drained with no talent. We should be even putting laws on the board that will encourage not us but our children to start going back to Liberia. And you got people who try to discriminate against or only a person or not your born Liberian. And look, it hard to look that country situation.
Thank you, sir.
Hard to explain.
Thank you,
it's
sir.
more than hard to explain, bro. But anyway, let me give you open, get the line open for other people to make their contribution.
Thank you. Let me take this call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Yeah, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
James, they were calling from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, James, make your point. Do you have a question, any concern for Leo? Any point you want to make? Really quick.
My concern is now Leo got from here. He went Liberia to go build library. That our diaspora money. Liberia don't need it. We should restrict it too. You have to restrict it or we should restrict it. But the problem with you, Steve, all this group, they don't promote them. When Tara, they don't president wants to speak, don't promote your opinion on your show. Don't deny them. They're not supposed to talk on Diaspora TV. They're not supposed to collect money from Diaspora. Nobody's going to generate money for any of them. They're not staying in Liberia. They're staying in a corner. We're staying in a corner. Let's see who won their friend.
Okay.
They need our more than we need it. But the problem I get we should be running campaign and see to black them for a while. Running campaign in America to come look for money. Because when they want to be representative, they come to America to look for money. Then I start to get friend or this person friend or that person friend or that person. Don't be denying that too, respect that too.
Okay. Well, Leo addressed that. Let me take another call. Thank you so much, my brother. Caller, where you calling from? What's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Oh.
Hello?
Yep. Hey, this is Ben calling from Minnesota. How are you?
Yes, Ben. I'm doing very well. We have Leo here with us. What is your take?
Yeah, first of all, let me just make a quick correction. When you were talking about the guys in the opposition today, Simon Taylor crossed over to the CDC today.
The CDC.
Simeon.
From Grand Cape,
Yeah, from Grand Cape.
Not easy.
Crossed over today to CDC.
Thank you for that update.
Yeah, all right. Now, to the point, I want to agree with what you guys are saying. However, my disagreement comes from the fact that there seems to be some political undertone here, and here is why. When the first bill came, I told you guys that first bill was better, and we should accept it and work on it and then make it better. But all of you allowed Darius DeLong to sway you guys for his 9 years, and now that he has his 9 years, he's telling you, no, it is wrong. So in as much as you guys were able to agree with Darius DeLong now, why do you want to disagree with him now? So this point in time, I think I'm going to agree with Darius DeLong.
You want me correcting why he's on?
Because there is no perfect bill. But the only reason why people went against those bills was because people had political reasons to disagree with the CDC government, and I said it. That bill was not better. But that bill could have been made much better.
Thank you.
But today, here we are now.
Thank you.
Boys will do everything they can to hurt us.
Leo will respond to that. Getting a call from international call. Let's take this call really quick. Okay, so can you stay on and Leo make a quick comment on your
Yeah, just a quick comment to him.
We'll call you back quick. We'll call you back really quick. Those
Yeah,
who called,
just a quick comment. I will correct you that Darius DeLong agreed with us. Darius DeLong was for the bill. After we argued and started making a lot of noise, then Darius DeLong changed his mind last minute of time to join us. So yes. I know you got issue with you making this about Darius DeLong. It's never. We are all sound people that can read. That bill was also a bad bill. That bill said dual citizens will not be president, vice president, chief justice, minister, deputy minister, assistant minister, yes. Director of autonomous agency. All of it. It was just as bad. And yes, there can be the perfect bill. The perfect bill would be what would create an incentive for all Liberians to want to come back without hiding their 2 passports and making sure Liberia benefits.
Ben.
A pepper bill. And let me tell you this.
Benjamin. I will hate to cut you off, but please, when you were speaking, he didn't speak. Allow him to end his thought, please, so that we can.
Okay.
I beg you, please.
All right.
Yeah. So we didn't get the last part of Leo's thought. Leo, can you?
The last part I was saying, Ben, the perfect bill is the bill that will allow Liberians in the diaspora to pay for the rights, to contribute to Liberia economically for the privilege, of holding another passport and putting in the better security systems that can ensure that Liberians holding other passports can be held accountable with their other passports, rather than saying there is no perfect bill. There is a perfect bill. For the first time in our history, we can declare that we can design a citizenship bill that allows inclusion and not exclusion.
Thank you. Ben, I have other callers. I have other callers, please.
Oh my God.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
McDonald Young, I'm calling from Minnesota.
McDonald Young, please go ahead, make your point, please.
Yeah, I'm born two of my children in Liberia, and they came very young. One of them came at the age of 1, 3,
2004. And now they are kind of getting their own teenagers. And when they asked me that we are Liberians or Americans, I told them you guys are American. They say, why is it because our law in Liberia and now you got to be citizens in Liberia? So can you imagine that? All of these from the thing about I have to tell them because our law in Liberia don't allow them to be citizens. They can go back and be struggling because citizens in Liberia. You understand? So I mean, I said, when I think about question, I feel all the time. Because our system is done in the interest of Liberians, in the interest of foreigners. And with very few corrupt guys in Liberia, so that we will find ourselves today. So I support dual citizenship so that we can go back home. Our children can go back home and contribute to the quota of Liberia, to the development of Liberia. Okay, so I think with one of Liberia. Can you imagine that? My children are very, very young. They ask, I would Liberia or American, because I'm American. Why? Because they're not in Liberia. So I got to be Liberian citizen.
Okay.
So I mean, this is a serious problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. We will get to Leo to answer these questions, but let's get to the people that call because I won't get in trouble. Let me call them back quick. Let me call one of the 3 people that called. Let's call them back. Okay. This person is not answering. He got a call back. Let's get to this other international caller here from Alberta, Canada. Let's get to this other caller. Come on. Hello? 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 All right, well, this caller, let's get the last person and see if we can get hold of them. This person from Phoenix. Let's see. This is an interesting conversation. We will.
I would like to offer to take on Dr. Rupter's argument. I want to take it apart piece by piece with some empirical evidence at some point.
Most definitely. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please? Yes. You want to partake on the show? Hello? Okay, hold on. Yes. What's your name? Where are you calling from, caller? Are you there?
James Hutchins.
Okay, Chance or Chance. Okay.
James Hutchins.
Oh, James Hutchins calling from Phoenix, Arizona. What is your take on the conversation? The caller hung up. Let me call him back because this person is my soccer coach from here. So he wants to partake. I don't know if he's switching from soccer to politics now.
That's how important the conversation is.
Exactly. I never heard you call before. All right. Well, we'll keep on the conversation. Leo, and I have to agree with you to Ben's point. Maybe Ben did not get it correct, but it's okay for all to set the record straight. Yes, Senator Darius, they don't switch over. And yes, some of us from day one, we have been for non-restriction.
Yep.
Yet, we have said, let them create, like you said, create an avenue for economic incentives. There's nothing wrong with that. It comes with a responsibility, whether you like it or not. It does. And so we should be responsible to some extent to contribute to our country, because we have the means. We are from the diaspora. Most of us have a job. Most of us have some kind of stable income. So it's okay for us to help the country in that way. There's nothing wrong with it. So I don't know where your take is based on what you've heard. I'm sorry for the brother who had to tell his children that they're Americans.
I know. And that's what most parents are going to have to start to do now, because you don't want to turn out to be a liar to your kids. The kids here, they hold us accountable. The things you tell them, they will ask you more critical questions about it if they find out that it's not true. But second of all, let me just make the person who was saying, making a salient point. Steve, I've always said it. We need to switch from the politicking to nation building. We need to switch our finances and our support. Go ahead. You want to pick up someone call?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
My name is Chris, and I'm calling from the Pelican State.
Hey, Chris. Louisiana?
I'm calling from the Pelican State.
Is that Louisiana?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I am so disappointed. I'm really disappointed. And I think because why this whole political thing is being put in this bill, it's because they've realized that the citizens in the diaspora have become very involved in Liberian politics, which is not a bad thing. But, you want us to go back home. You want us to, we want to go develop our country. And we shouldn't have a say in the government. We shouldn't have a say in whatever we do or whatever happens in Liberia. That's so unfair. We want our kids to go back home. So if we don't fight this thing, then I don't think it will ever happen again. Because, look, some of us want to be able to take our kids home. We want our kids to feel and know their roots, and to feel that they are part of Liberia, they are Liberians. What a room for them. What a room for them in that bill. What a room for them in that bill. There's no place. So I just listened to that man who said he brought his child at 1 year. He brought his 3 children, and one of them was 1 year old. What place they got in Liberia? If the house do sell you, the street will not buy you. That one in that bill.
Yep, basically.
I'm so ashamed of Senator Dillon. All the oppositions, that is right there. You're saying you're going to move President Weah, but you're still fighting. You're fighting the very people you're supposed to be fighting for. You're making bills to keep yourself in power. Come on now.
Yeah.
All of them need to go. We need to vote all of them off.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Vote every one of them off. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, because of the volume of call, Leo, I'd like to give Benjamin maybe just 1 minute.
Okay, give him an opportunity so he can.
Yes,
he can
please.
provide
Because
some
of the
feedback.
volume of call that was coming in, I can click over, so I wanted to. Let me call Benjamin back to make sure that he wanted to make a point, but it was.
Yeah, I know there was a point he was trying to make when you told him to wait. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Benjamin back on here. Yes, good to it. Ben, sorry about that. There were flux of call coming in, and so we had to click over. But please make your points, please.
Yeah. So here is my argument that I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a perfect bill anywhere in the world, anywhere. So it is strange when Leo is bringing this idea, I don't know where it is coming from, to claim that there will be a perfect bill. Any bill in the world has problems. It does not satisfy every side. So all I was saying was that the bill prior to the election that brought Diaspora in, that bill had the same discriminatory items in it. However, there were some legitimate points in that bill that was going to reduce legislative term. It was going to reduce the presidential term. We should have looked at those advantages and said, look, let's take this now. And then maybe in the future, we can still tweak it. But guess what? We are losing everything right now as it stands. Right now, guess what? The presidential still stands. Legislative, still have these long tenures, and still, we are still not part of our government. So which of those two are more better? By not taking something or taking something and then working on it later. Which is better? We are losing. We can't keep fighting a losing battle like this. No, we can't. We have to take some of our wins. You can't win all the time.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
You can't win all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your point.
Thank you.
All right. Leo, go ahead, please.
Yeah, a quick point to Ben. All of those things are irrelevant when the fundamental building block and foundation of democracy is citizenship. I'm okay for going presidential term. I'm okay for going all of that new stuff. Trust me, citizenship is at the core of the human rights of all of these people. Turning and all that stuff are all in the context of a political debate. It's almost like Steve. Somebody says, Steve, you're not part of the family. We kick you out of the family. But you know why? We will agree that I will step in You're not entitled to it, but agree the monthly stipend. You still get some, agree so you can get a stipend, but you gotta accept that you're not part of the family anymore. I would rather be part of the family and don't get a monthly stipend because when I'm part of when you lose the very essence of citizenship, you are beginning to erode our very democracy itself. Because it is the definition of the people who are citizens that are responsible, that can change the laws or not. When you are removing them from the picture and you say, oh no, but let's take the other, and the whole thing in Liberian politics, about we can do it small, let's do the one now, let's take the other one when there is no reason why we can do all of this now. If there is reasons why, tell me, just because of politicians' selfish interest? I disagree to that. I would rather fight the good fight. The same thing we can say about opposition and compromise. And you know, the Canadian 30,000 but the vote for the other team, and we say, oh, why they compromise on the other one? But then we are saying again that we might take the bad, some of the bad part, let's just take the other bad part because it got two good part inside. No, we're not do that when there's an opportunity to get it right. And when I say perfect, I didn't mean perfect in the sense of the biblical description of perfect. Perfect just means in the sense of doing it better when there's a way that it can be better and that way is accessible.
And I would have to agree with you. This idea, we can have the whole thing. We can push for the whole thing, but you give us peace, then we'll kick it down the road and we'll go for another 50 years or another 40 years. Then we'll
and what we did doing them all. But
exactly.
Steve, I was just doing them all with Akosoma peace. We said, let's get it all. Then we'll keep again the whole thing, then we'll go back again. We said, until we were ready to attack all at once. It's like Dr. Martin Luther King. He wanted women to vote right? He wanted voting rights for black people, civil rights. You don't have people that would have just said, okay, you know what? Say the people agree for all to vote, let's just take that one. The other part of the civil right, you don't leave it for it. We can fight that one later down the road. Dr. King said, no, all of them are on the table. The full rights of black people should be granted them as should any other human being. And don't give us piecemeal.
But that's what it should be. It shows, especially the foundation, because what you've just said is the foundation of all of these things. Because when we have our rights to vote, then we can say, listen, guess what happened? This 9-year or 10-year thing for president, let's look into it now. But why we can't have the fundamental right?
Exactly.
Why is it that particular one? You should bring all the small things around. You have to distract us with it. But the most important part, we shouldn't talk about it. So why is it that, okay, if this was the case, I agree that we might have lost some of the good things or whatever now. Cool. But here is my question to Ben and other people who might think this way. Here's my question to them. What good does it do you as a citizen of a country when you have no voting rights? Do you know what that is? Do you know what the right for you to vote or the right to even be identified as that person? Do you know what it means? It's even better than any other thing. So we can't sit around and forget about the most important thing.
But the party honest, Steve, how I said they are not afraid that one Boutique was about to become elections commission chair. How are you not afraid that he was at LSCC and he's originally a Nigerian and naturalized? You never had any fear that it could be a security issue. But it is a natural born Liberian who was another passport that you say you scared. You got to protect it because the person got another passport. Why did they run away? One Boutique had a Nigerian passport. But you're not afraid of him. How is it the current laws? We're not afraid that a naturalized Liberian can be Chief Justice, can be President Pro Temp, can be Minister, can be Deputy Minister, can be anything. We're not afraid that that person will owe loyalty to their original country because they are naturalized in Liberia, right? We're okay with that. But only for natural born Liberian, we are afraid that, oh my God, they might have loyalty. And the only position we should protect, let only protect the political positions that we ourselves get.
Yeah, especially with one Boutique case, they buy him man, he village stay in Nigeria.
All of them from Nigeria.
Your pa, your man, you can trace your village. They are there. Nigeria. So what sense does that make?
And that's the question I keep asking them.
This thing does not make any sense. But you know, I hope, you know, I know at some point once we get to, we're working also with Josh Lobo and other people who were part of this whole initial build thing. As time goes by, hopefully, doing
and the point I was trying to make, Steve, we need to start redirecting our support to where it should be. I'm not kidding you. You see, I said it, Steve, I usually stay away from the political fray. This dual citizenship thing, I'm going to take it as my mantra also. We all, because this is something that could plunge our country. Steve, wait until one day people in the diaspora start feeling, we remember when Ellen Johnson, Sirleaf, the Baco Matthew, and all of them, HB felt haunted, felt that they were denied their rights as citizens of Liberia to participate in the politics by Samuel Doe and all the other people who were denying them from participating. Ellen Johnson said he won. You remember, I think as mayor of Monrovia, was it Elena won or Amos Sawyer? One of them won, and they never took their seat because they were denied. All of these things were what made them. They had no other choice, in their opinion, but to forcibly come back through any means. Let's not allow any government or politician to put us in a situation where some of our brothers and sisters will start to think that they got no choice but to forcibly come in a way that will destabilize and destroy all of us again. Let's not allow that to happen again.
This is an interesting conversation. We've gone over the 2 hours mark here. Definitely we'll speak with Leo so that we can have Leo back here. We'll talk about the bill. We'll talk about exactly the theory that they brought up, and so that you can deconstruct that theory, like you said, so that it can make more sense. Because I think they didn't even think through that theory. The theory said,
and I'm not criticizing Dr. Rupture Pillay. She didn't say go ahead and put in these restrictions. She said the issue of dual citizenship has to come with some policy procedures and guidelines to restrict. They misunderstood that policy procedures could be, for example, if you're a dual citizen, countries that Liberians predominantly are coming from, let's say, for example, United States. Liberia look at their treaty laws with the United States to try and strengthen their extradition treaty laws, since this is a place predominantly you have a huge concentration of Liberian water passports, so that it makes it easier for you to hold somebody accountable if they cause trouble, they won't run away with their passport. You have improved your treaty laws with the United States, that extraditing that person back to Liberia becomes much more simpler now because you anticipated that. That's smart laws. What's the point of making a law, Steve, that is unenforceable? I keep asking everybody, pass that dual citizenship law. You can't ask somebody, you get a passport, they say, no, I don't have it. How are you going to prove it? You call the United States government and say, does Steve have a U.S. passport? The United States government say, that's private and privileged information. Only Steve Bolle has right to that information. We cannot share it with you. So how are you going to prove that these people have another passport? When Steve Bolle go to the ministry here and say, I come from my birth certificate, you ought to look at Steve Bolle and think, say, he's not Liberian.
Yeah,
think about it.
When I show you my whole
the whole village. Steve, I bring your whole village. And you say, no, you're not from Liberia. So Steve could be holding 5 other passports for all he cares. Because you got no robust record system of birth and recording, Steve can make anyhow more and get anything you want.
Yeah, all my speaking Bandi.
Bro, I go to the village. When you find me coming out there, bring one boss with you. Let me see who will debate whether you from Liberia or not.
They cannot be boss, okay.
Exactly.
Leo, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Steve.
Parting comments, and definitely we'll connect so that we can have this conversation.
My parting comments will be: ask yourself, how has Nigeria been harmed for having unrestricted dual citizenship? Ask yourself, how has Israel been harmed for having unrestricted dual citizenship? Ask yourself, and if countries are able to do it and do it well, our story is unique, Steve. Many people say, oh, there are other countries that got restrictions. No, the story of Liberia started as dual citizenship. Our story started as a story of dual citizenship. And every time we've rejected it, it's led to trouble. Every time we've rejected it to say certain people are not from here, it's led to a trouble. The Constitution has been manipulated constantly in our history to only serve the interests of 10%. Let us not allow it to happen again. For the first time, let's allow this Constitution to be looked at in a way that benefits the majority of our country. Let's not make laws for now. Let's make laws for where the country is headed. And where the country is headed is in a place of responsible dual citizenship that allows us to create the first middle class, where those who hold other passports as a privilege can pay their fair share, so our brothers and sisters in Liberia can know that they are holding that privilege, but they are being accountable for that privilege. So nothing is disadvantaging our brothers and sisters in Liberia, because the accountability for the privilege of holding another passport is rightfully in place, rather than marginalizing our people in the diaspora to protect our political offices and force them to have to resort to other illegal, unnecessary means of forcing their way back into the family fold that is called Liberia.
All right, wonderful. Well, like I said, thank you so much, Leo. I'm also in touch with Chairman Yato, George. Unfortunately, George has the death of his mother.
Oh, yeah.
To announce it, please reach out to him.
I will.
All of you here, if you can, these are tough times. These are troubling times for him and his family. Reach out to him. The burial and other ceremonies that should be taking place very soon, the official announcement, but tentatively the date for the burial It's scheduled for July 23rd. Those of you who can make it. And we'll also provide you with options to contribute, and at some point we'll have Josh on here too as well to hear about this and see about some of these things. We're working with them behind the scenes as well. But in the meantime, we and Leo will continue to have this conversation. This is a national call. This is for all of us as Liberians. This is not a political call. We must stand up together in unity. If we can stand up together to elect Senator Darius DeLong and other people, the reason I'm referencing them is because most recently they benefited and they sided with us for us to struck down this bill that was introduced by the CDC-led government, and we struck it down. So this time around, let's unite. Listen, people, it's okay for us to elect people, but it is not okay when we sit on the touch and not hold them accountable. That's a problem in itself. When we elect people, that's hold them accountable. Nothing wrong with it. You can maintain your relationship with them. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll play host to the Internal Affairs Minister here. Please, the same time, the same place. We want to say thanks to Leo, and we are very sorry that the incident occurred. Yeah. We wish you well, Leo. We'll be in touch. I'll call you. We'll talk. Thank you so much. Thanks for all you do, and we'll continue to work on this. Thank you. This is how we draw down the curtains for today. Have a good day. We got some runs to do. We got some things to take care of. It's the weekend now. Stay out of trouble. And let me go find my friend because all my friends are abandoning me. I don't see Tel today. Sekou is out of town. Sekou is in Texas, Dallas. I know he and Tel might hang out. So Tel is having her elections today, so she couldn't make it. But Leo was here and we had a conversation. We will have part 2, part 3 of this conversation, definitely, because we'll talk about that bill. That particular bill, we want to bring it up so you can listen to what's in that bill, my people. These guys, but we inside, we'll not stop. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay cool because it's very hot all around the country and all around the world. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you and thank you.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story. Oh yeah, you know on the Pavia Loca. So Mora, you post a new car on Facebook. But that's so la. You working better. Loving and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must have the impression. Enjoyment. Got your blessing.